So, welcome to another CMC podcast. Today, we have another in the series of Meet the Instructor. And joining us today, we have Justin Klopfenstein. Justin, you want to say hi?
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
So, Justin, what got you into the fire service?
Well, it truly was my dad. I grew up with him being in the fire service. So, just like every little kid, they want to be like their dad. They want to be a fireman. That's kind of what I've experienced. And so, just growing up, seeing him and his career, being able to go visit the fire station, that kind of drew me into it. So, throughout the years, I've had his guidance, and I've started out with explorers and volunteer, and just worked my way up through the career path, really.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your career then?
So I started out in high school, actually, just as a explorer, actually. Explorer, that was I think 1991 I started that, and then that was in Moreno Valley through CDF, or CAL FIRE, it's called now, and became a volunteer firefighter in 1994, and I did that through up until the year 2000, and that just kept my interest going. I had my experience with that, and all the while going into getting hired by an ambulance company as AMR, American Medical Response. I think I was hired there in 2000, or actually 98. I think I got hired in 98. Was an EMT there, driving an ambulance. And then went to paramedic school out in Crafton Hills, because that was pretty much needed to be in the fire service. That was my goal, to be a fireman. And was testing, could not get hired. Everybody wanted to be a fireman then. But then in 2001, the Oceanside Fire Department, they hired me. So Oceanside is it's just, if you don't know where it is, it's just south of Camp Pendleton, the Marine base, and they're about 8 stations. They're 42 square miles. They got 3 miles of coastline, so it's a pretty decent sized city for out here, and I've been working there ever since. So spent 5 years as a firefighter paramedic, 5 years as an engineer. 11 years as a captain, and then now I'm a battalion chief serving the city. So that's been really fun for me, and have plans to retire out of there.
That's a good position to be in there, huh?
Yeah.
So, were you involved? Are you involved in any of the specialty teams or anything within the department?
Yeah. So. I'm involved in stuff within our city, the city of Oceanside, actually. So we have a confined space program at the city, and so I help to help build that up, and then through again following footsteps with my father. Does some teaching as well, so naturally I was wanting to go down the teaching route and take rescue classes, and I got involved in teaching at my department. Currently, I teach for our department, for our academy. I teach for the community college called Palomar College, for just some low-angle rope rescue stuff for the college, and also confined space rescue awareness. So they get that certificate right out of the academy, and so I teach there. So I'm involved with just some associations there, and then also FEMA. California has 8 task forces. I am a member of a California Task Force 8, and I currently serve as a rescue team manager over there. And that is, it's very healthy for just the whole rescue side of stuff, because you get to see a lot of different aspects of the rescue disciplines. So that's good. So I do that, and then I've also had a chance to sit down and be part of the rewrite committee for the California State Curriculum for Confined Space Rescue Awareness, and just found out the trench rescue rewrite as well. So that's pretty much it as far as my associations go.
Wow. Well, that's a lot, yeah. And those the state curriculum committees can be kind of interesting, I bet.
Yeah, it's a lot of brains coming together. You have to follow what the direction that they want to go. But it's nice hearing different aspects of it, and then being able to give your input to really shaping the curriculum is good, because it's all about it's about the end product, right? The students that we want to create, the students and instructors that we want to create.
Yeah, and I think too for our listeners, the California, some people may say, geez, 8 task force in one state, but you guys are all very active on just with the deployments within the state alone, with between wildfires, mudslides, earthquakes, and everything else. Huh?
Yeah, so it's good, and the way that this works is if an incident happens, obviously we try to handle it the best we can locally, and then it just moves out to the region, to the state, and then if it gets super big, to the feds. And so California, we've got, with those 8 teams, we've got a cycle or a rotation through the state, but there's also a national rotation. So it keeps us busy, all the stuff that's happening in the nation.
Yeah, that's for sure. So when did you start with CMC?
CMC, I started in early 2015. Brought in doing the rescue 1-2, and it was really good. CMC does they really take their time. It's great. They take your time learning or teaching you as an instructor, wanting to make sure you're good with your disciplines. So task books, stuff like that. I first started teaching just the rope 1-2, and then moved out eventually to confined space, and then now to trench rescue.
Yeah, and then you do some, and then you also do some contract classes now too, right?
They do, yeah. So it's good here. We do. I mean, as you know, Doug, CMC does a ton of contract stuff out there, from the full week classes just to even just 1 day classes. Whether it's up here in LA, doing some of the dam work. I've taught with you out in several places doing some other stuff with at different dams, and that's the real interesting part of CMC, and why I think why the instructors are so versed and have such good experiences, because, man, all the different venues that we are able to teach, we see a lot. We can apply a lot of different scenarios to the rescue discipline.
Yeah, I agree. And it's and as an instructor, it's fun to get to those spots too. You learn just so much about that, those specific types of industries. For sure, I think seeing the people that are there, and they're experts in their field, and with wherever they work, and so we get to approach them with the teaching and get to just kind of help broaden their horizons with stuff. But yeah, the venues are great. It's you really get a chance to see the rescue scenario in a lot of different ways. Yeah, definitely. And each industry definitely has their own challenges. So
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So what do you enjoy most about teaching?
So honestly, it's for me, as I was learning, just all throughout my life, right? Not just the fire service, but through rescue in general, I really appreciated the different instructors, because when they took their time, there was those aha moments, when as you're learning, a lot of the stuff that you learn is just maybe passed down knowledge, but you didn't see it actually work out, or once you learn by the mistakes, right? And so you see how something doesn't work. I appreciated those instructors that took the time to kind of let me screw up and see why stuff didn't work and explain the why behind it. And so one of the best things I like about CMC is they do explain that. They explain the why behind it. We do all of our own testing. We take myths. We take stuff that we hear from other people, other industries. We try to apply it, see if it's true through testing, debunk stuff that maybe needs to be debunked, so we can provide some validity to it. And I think that provides probably some of the most clout from CMC. That's why the instructors are so, they have such a depth of knowledge they provide. When students ask questions, they can give that why behind it. They can give either rescues that they've been on or through data through testing. That's one of the biggest things I like about teaching. And then with the students too is providing, because of that, being able to provide that and see them get those aha moments where it ties together stuff for them. To me, that makes it all worth it.
Yeah, you're right. It's so rewarding when that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, with all the stuff you talked about, you're a really, really busy guy between the fire department and the teams and teaching and CMC. But when you're not doing that, what do you do to keep yourself busy?
Yeah. Well, when I'm at home here, I like doing some woodworking. I'm a big tinker. I do woodwork, metalwork, just any type of fabrication. And Doug, I know you're the same way. I think we've had many conversations about woodworking and stuff, but I do enjoy that. I like helping out people, just the design stuff. And that's kind of when I have my own, my time. But I'm a big family guy too. Like going hiking with our family, any outdoorsy stuff, camping, stuff like that. My wife and I are really involved in our church out here. So, it's a lot of good stuff.
You live in a great part of the country for hiking and camping and everything.
Yeah.
Don't have to deal with exactly. Don't have to deal with snow and cold and everything else.
Yeah.
So is there anything in tech rescue you've got really strong feelings about?
In tech rescue, well, I think that, there's a lot of kind of like what I was alluding to earlier, there's a lot of passed down knowledge that people have. And so being able to go to the books, to go to resources, to be able to find it and apply it and see that why behind it. I'm a huge fan of just practicing your craft and honing your craft. I mean, it's and it doesn't matter what rescue discipline it is, because some of us don't like the ropes and knots. Some of us like maybe just pounding hammers and the whole emergency building shoring or the trench rescue stuff. But depending on where you work and what disciplines you do, that could shape you, who you are, what you do, what you focus on. But I think at the end of the day, my thing is being able to have the resources where you can go back and if people come with questions, or you have questions you've heard along throughout the years, is to go back and try to find that information for yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you're a worker or you're a rescuer, the whole safety aspect that's usually wrapped up in that, it depends on you as the person trying to find out the answers to that. So, at CMC, there's all your instructors you can pretty much go to ask any of these, and if they don't know the answer, they can go find somebody to get that answer to you.
Yeah, you're right. We're very fortunate that we can phone a friend and call engineering, or if there's a question on an NFPA standard, we have people that sit on the NFPA committees, so we can actually reach out to them and kind of get the why behind or the explanation, what were the thoughts, and so on. Yeah, you're right. It makes it pretty cool.
Exactly.
And I think too, you had kind of mentioned the different skills and the different disciplines, and you're one of our few guys that actually teaches not only rope but confined space and trench. So
yeah, it's interesting with CMC. You mentioned that California, with our state fire training, our fire marshal, we have a whole curriculum through our state here, and CMC actually they actually wrote the curriculum, or they published the curriculum for trench rescue, and then for a lot of our confined space stuff as well. So I currently sit as a senior instructor for the state for confined space and trench, and so it's cool wrapping CMC up with this in California and then outside of California, like taking this curriculum outside of the state and having it all be the same thing.
Yeah, it definitely makes it much easier when everything's consistent. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, But then on the other token, like we talked about the contract classes, and like I say, you and I have taught a couple of those together, and it's really fun to be able to customize the course right for the customer, and what are your hazards, and kind of help them kind of pre-plan it, if you will, and then practice that pre-plan.
Yeah, I think you're right, Doug. It's having a broad knowledge of this, it does the customers a good service, because there's some things that aren't necessary for a contract class to know. We might just be bombarding them with information that they don't need to know. But you're right, being able to pick and choose stuff that is perfect for them, that it covers their hazards, what concerns they have for their specific scenarios, whether it's through confined spaces and rope stuff. You're right, that is the beauty of this and what we can do.
Yeah. So what do you see in the future for tech rescue, especially since you're involved in multiple disciplines? Where do you see it going?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I'm not really sure. I don't know if I've really thought about that. Definitely, some lighter stuff. It's interesting with, we've got the whole 11 mil cache coming out. It's been out, and so when at least out here in California, right? Well, maybe most of the nation, the 1/2-inch static current mantle rope, that's what we use. Everything is people teach this whole 15-to-1 safety factor, but then there's the mountaineering world, and these two worlds collide, right? And where do we meet in the middle of this with that and rope access? I know it's only getting more technical, and so the people that do rescue, they just have continuing to have a lot more information and a lot more stuff that they have to learn. So, being these incidents that are low frequency, high risk, boy, you've got to have players that have the time and the knowledge to be able to do this stuff and do it on a regular basis to practice.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think some of the newer lighter equipment, in some degrees, makes that even easier to hone in practice. But in some aspects, it makes it more complicated because there's more stuff out there. You have to kind of choose what works and then practice with what you've decided.
Yeah, that's right. And I think what's important with this is learning the fundamentals, right, of the stuff that we learn in the rope 1-2 classes. You take that and you learn what's important about that and the forces that are involved and the strengths of the systems and everything with your components. You can apply those same principles to the mountaineering world, to rope access, to all this stuff. And as long as you're operating at that technician level, so you know where to, how to properly rig, and as long as you have that depth of knowledge, then you should be safe. You should be okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, very well said. Yeah, having that the fundamentals to always fall back on, it uses your basis. Yeah, I agree. Very, very important. So, I think it's been interesting since our rope casters are split between 1/2-inch and 11 mil to watch the students which they gravitate towards, and there's definitely been a switch over that everyone tries to get that 11 mil cache, especially if we're someplace where they got to carry it any distance.
That's it,
for their scenario, yeah.
Well, and especially with the lighter stuff, the NWCG, all the REMs, these REMs positions that are coming in. You're hiking in stuff, man. You're not going to be hiking in steel carabiners and 1/2-inch, static current mantle rope. You're right. You want the light stuff, and that's just one small aspect of it. If there's any other mountaineering teams, or just for the work stuff, the people for work access, they want light stuff as well.
Yeah, now with the strengths being very comparable to the 1/2-inch stuff, there's not many reasons not to use it.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, Exxon, anything else you'd like to add here? Or?
Oh, this has been great. Yeah, I enjoy every class. It's great meeting the students. The students, they bring such a rich part of the class because you learn from their experiences about what they do. either their knowledge stuff that they've done in the past, or how things work with what they do. Either it's a contract class, but also, like you said, man, just the different venues. There's so many different ways or different environments, right, that you rescue. The classes that we do, it's on the rocks at Vegas, or inside refineries, some of the stuff that you and I have done. Crazy stuff. So yeah, it's cool for me. It's cool to see all these different venues, and I look forward to all the future classes with the students that we see.
Yeah, excellent. So, well, thanks for joining us, and hopefully our students and prospective students got a little bit more of an insight into getting to know you a little bit better. And so stay tuned for another CMC podcast. Thank you.